Hello and welcome to a gameplay for all seasons. On this Hogwarts Legacy video, we're going to do something ever so slightly different. And I'm going to say from the onset that I've been thinking quite a lot about the game. We obviously know so much more about it now that I've started to think about how am I going to play the game, what am I going to do? And one of the things I've been thinking about is which house am I going to start with? And in this video, I'm going to go through that and the logic of how I've decided what house I'm going to be in. Now, I would absolutely love to know in the comments which house you're planning to be in and what your logic is as to why you want to do that. We know we have a great community on this channel and it's always interesting to see what people say. Now, remember, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, and you want to make sure you start with all things Hogwarts Legacy and generally have a good chat about some interesting things around it. So which house then do I want to start the game with and why? So first off, some of you already know this, but every time I do a Harry Potter quiz, or rather a Wisdom World quiz, I always come out with a house of Ravenclaw. Doesn't matter, even if I try and tweak my answer slightly, I seem to come out with Ravenclaw. And for that reason, when I played Hogwarts Mystery, I started off in Ravenclaw, which is great and fun. I had lots of fun with that, but I don't want to go ahead and for my very first run, be Ravenclaw again. So that's discounted Ravenclaw for at least my first run in Hogwarts Legacy. So I'm left with only the three, Gryffindor, Hufflepuff or Slytherin. Now it does feel to me, if you watch that 14-minute trailer and you look at our main character, almost always the main character is dressed as Gryffindor. And I can't help it, but it makes me feel like the game somehow is trying to suggest to you that you should start off, you should be Gryffindor. Now, it may just be that they think that's the most popular house and they want to show it. But for whatever reason, I'm the sort of person who, one, I play a game. I always want to play it my way. I don't want to feel that I'm getting led by the game developers to play it in a certain way, particularly if it's open world. I'm generally the sort of person, if I get two options and I can tell the game's trying to lead me one way, if it's an open world game, I will generally go the other way, just so I feel like I'm getting my own unique experience, or at least my experience. So for me, first run, that pushes out Gryffindor. So that leaves me with Slytherin and Hufflepuff. And there's two things I've kind of considered here as to whether I want to be Slytherin or Hufflepuff. Now, firstly, I always feel like from the Harry Potter films, Hufflepuff is the one. I know it had Cedric Diggory, but it's the house that seemed and felt like it got the least attention in those books. Particularly the fact that it's the only common room in the books Harry didn't visit, therefore we got the least description about it. And for whatever reason, that stuck with me a little bit. And I kind of feel like to experience the common rooms, the one I'm most going to want to experience is the Hufflepuff one. Purely because I feel like that has got the least attention so far. So the second thing I've considered then, as to whether I'd be Slytherin or Hufflepuff, is to look at the companions that we know about so far. So obviously we've only got 3 companions we know about, and I've had a recent video on 2 of them. I will have another one on the third one. So I've had a video on Poppy Sweetin and Sebastian Sallow, and it's almost one of the other main things we know about the houses and the differences the companions have so far been exposed to. So I'm thinking to myself, of the 2, i.e. Poppy Sweetin and Sebastian Sallow, which of those 2 is the most interesting to me? And for me, and I know this differs because I had a survey on this channel, and Sebastian Sallow seems to be the person that most people are interested about, for me it's actually Poppy Sweetin. Now, the reason I say that may well be simply because in the 14-minute trailer, we got a fair bit of information about Sebastian. We got very little information about Poppy. So for me, that's made Poppy Sweetin feel more mysterious. As well as the fact that I'd say she felt a bit more stereotypical, which makes me feel like there's going to be a lot more to the character. So you've probably guessed it. For those 2 reasons, at this stage, we've got plenty more of gameplay to see, I'm sure, before the release, and lots of other information. I'm sure we'll meet the Ravenclaw companion and we'll know more different sources. But Hufflepuff is the house that I'm currently thinking of starting with. So I've said starting with. Now, why do I say starting with? And does that suggest that I'm going to play the game more than once? Well, maybe. It's going to very much depend on the game itself. If we find out, or from playing it, we know that it doesn't really matter which house you're in. It's an aesthetic, and yes, it's fun, whichever house you go for, but essentially you are getting the exact same gameplay experience, then I may well only play it once. But if we find out it's not just aesthetic, but actually there's a genuine and rewarding difference of playing the different houses, then I may be looking at playing it 4 times. That we don't know about yet. There's nothing overly to suggest so far. There's going to be big differences between the houses. But as I say, if there is, and there's different rewarding experience, I'll be playing it more than once. I hope you enjoyed this. Do like it if you have. Let me know in the comments what you're planning to do, which house you're going to go for, and I'll see you on the next video.